Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Discovery Hall, home of CWU Geology. Today we look at the rock garden that surrounds the building on this busy campus. I'm going to talk to two folks who had a hand in creating an experience for you, and you're welcome to come to this building 24/7. You can use the free parking link that I posted last week. Thank you. All right, well, Rex Flake, thank you for your time today. Former student, and there, by God, there's the building. Actually, what were you just telling me, Rex? You installed, or you designed the instruments that are up on top there?
Oh, just the big 2-meter satellite dish that I had to put together. It came in like 4 pieces, and Walter and Tim helped me put it together, and it was like 60-mile-an-hour wind, so we were just trying not to Mary Poppins off the roof, but it's there, and it talks to a satellite in geosynchronous orbit, so then it bounces off of that and talks to a bunch of field sites, and they listen for it, and then when it calls for data, they respond and give it data, and it comes back through space right to there. The idea of that is that it doesn't go through any network, doesn't touch the ground.
Yeah. I mean, you're a former student here from back in the 90s, so this is like
90s job.
Yeah, like 20 plus years of hands-on, like, what do you call yourself? Field technician, field designer?
Yeah, field engineer sounds got a nice ring to it.
It does have a nice ring to it. And just before we start talking about the rock garden, what is you must be busy this spring with installing or maintaining or designing or all the above?
All the above.
Okay.
Yeah, like the little satellite system I was just talking about, have to go and upgrade, firmware, hardware, fix some that are down, then constant maintenance on, hundreds of different GPS sites for different reasons. Sometimes it's solar panels, sometimes it's a new receiver, like GNSS upgrade. If it didn't have all the satellite constellations before, that's one of the big things now is, especially with real time, going with all the different constellations, not just the GPS constellations, but the Russians GLONASS and the Chinese Beidou and Galileo in Europe, so it just adds coverage, especially for areas like the west side where there's lots of trees.
Holy cow! Wow.
So,
all right.
And then traditionally it's not really that needed for like the measurement of a daily solution and detecting slow earthquakes, and that's fine with just a limited amount of GPS satellite constellations, but if you want real time and every second counts.
Yes.
So.
Yes. All right. Well, I mean, that's your day job, but what was it? 6 years ago, we say, okay, well, we're going to move out of our old building. We're going to move into this new building called Discovery Hall, and we want to create this rock garden. And how are we going to find these rocks, and how are we going to logistically deal with all this and moving these huge boulders to campus? So. Did you volunteer, or somebody said, "Hey, come on, now you've been you know the right people"? How'd that come about?
Well, they asked and I bit. I'm a bit of a mountain goat, and so I've seen lots of rocks in my day.
Yeah.
And I knew where a lot of them were, especially for type localities of the Kittitas and in the upper, well, not even the Kittitas, but just the upper central basin.
Yeah.
Around the Mount Stewart range and the Ingalls complex, and then all of the sandstones.
That's your scene, man. That's your scene.
That's my shtick.
Yeah. So I would be overwhelmed with that task, and you not only knew where the rocks were, but like, do you have a few favorite boulders that have a story involving kind of moving, like these guys right here on this wall?
Well, these guys were placed by the building people.
Okay.
These are all nice. They're sparkly. They're a high-grade metamorphic rock.
Yeah.
Not particularly my favorite. I definitely have a favorite on the other side, but over here,
good Lord,
there's There's a lot going on here at Central Washington University. We pride ourselves in our undergrad programs. We do lots of education. Nick Zentner he's from here. Yeah. And world famous.
Stop it. Well, we must have set out some birdseed or something. I don't know. There's just a big flock of potential students that showed up here.
One of the really interesting ones that I was really excited to get was these diabase boulders that came from the Camas. It's actually a sill.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of a lava intrusion in between the Chumstick Formation sandstone layers. Mm-hmm. And the interesting cooling history of it allowed the crystals to grow enough to see. Whereas like the Columbia River basalts, it's in essence the same as a Columbia River basalt.
Right.
But you can see the minerals because it cooled just a little bit slower, not enough to be called a legitimate, intrusive plutonic rock,
yeah.
But
and
real pretty. They form big columns, just like the Columbia, but the columns are at least 2 to 3 times in width, and that just has to do with, I don't know what that has to do with.
Well,
honestly.
It's a mystery. I don't think we even have a good date on that thing. That sill is sitting in the middle of that Chumstick Formation, and I mean. Yeah,
much older than the Columbia River basalts, most likely. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know about this tall thing here?
I don't, but it looks like a cabinetry / kitchen counter project gone wrong.
Yeah.
It's a little phallic. That you might have to edit out.
No, we'll keep it. We want the full Rex Flake experience.
This one I'm most proud of. I called it a lazerite boulder. I don't know really what it is. You can't really see the minerals, but it's ultramafic. Very, not real common, but right in the Ingalls complex to find such a clean specimen without erosion, because the deeper, the higher the pressure and higher the temperature, the rock minerals that form it, the least, or how do I want to say it? It's less stable at the surface. Yep. And so when you find these rocks, they're usually all crumbly and dirty. And so this thing represents the middle core of something that had all kinds of erosion, and then it was in a rock quarry right in the Ingalls, and they had been scraping away, and everything around it's just dirty, and then there's this gem, and then we kind of scratched it. So in a couple hundred years, the scratch will go away.
That's character. I know.
That was us. That was us when we put it down. I was like, no, don't scratch my rock.
So tell us some of the logistics of this. So that you went into the quarry. Did you know the owners or?
Yeah, I did actually. The Rayfield Brothers Excavating gave me permission to go in and choose a couple rocks, and gave me my blessing and let me pass the grumpy gatekeeper who drove me up in his side-by-side and his Coors Light and said, "Roar." But then he was really nice after I explained what I was up to and wasn't just trying to shoot up his rock quarry with my washing machine dump and target practice.
So you pick it up, you get past the grumpy guy, and then how does it end up here? I mean, I don't even know how that works.
We had a big truck. We can, should we walk?
Let's do it, yeah.
Do the other ones?
Yeah.
I don't know the size of the truck, but it was a big flatbed truck with a pick. Maybe you could show a picture of it.
Yeah.
It's basically, an excavator bucket with a thumb.
Okay.
And that's attached to the back of the flatbed. And then we had another trailer, so we actually filled up 2 semi-truck trailers of rocks on, careful when you give a geologist a backpack the size of a semi-truck. And
I just figured you hired somebody out for all that, but you were like directly involved in
I went out and I found all of them, and then I negotiated with any of the property owners. The DOT in the North Central region was very helpful as well for some of the Migmatites that we'll see.
Yeah.
And And the PUD, the Chelan County PUD, assisted with some of them as well. And then even a friend of mine, Dan Dietrich, he had this very, very type locale Mount Stewart batholith granodiorite / diorite.
Yep.
And it was one of the biggest ones we got. I think we almost tipped the truck over. But that's this guy right here.
All right, so this is one of your faves, for good reason.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, it's a real good representation of the entire Mount Stewart batholith, like I was saying, and it's got, you know, it's got these veins going in here, and then you get an idea of this is also a vein, so you're looking at a cross section, like if you were looking at that, so that's kind of neat. You can see right here where this one is intersected, so you can see how it went through. And it kind of gives you a 3D perspective. And if I remembered, I thought that it even showed kind of the gradation between, because the Mount Stewart is a granodiorite in the center, and it's mostly a diorite on the periphery. I thought this had like a gradation, but maybe we faced it down.
Necessary to load this thing in your flatbed. Like, is your buddy like?
This one we had to rope. So we had to get some ropes around because we couldn't thumb this thing. It was way too big.
Right.
And so yeah, we had some straps around here, and then just picked it up with the same arm.
We should get the paleo mag on this thing. It might be a little different than what it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, and then
this is perfect. Let's keep it rolling, baby.
So yeah, and then the DOT helped facilitate Earthquake Point, which is a pretty well-known place for the, you know the year.
I do. 1872.
Ah.
Yeah.
1872.
Former
earthquake out of Eniat.
Me now. This is like Caleb
But this
Starter.
this thing is beautiful.
So how did DOT facilitate? They gave you just permission?
They gave us permission to pick them up off the side of the road. And,
okay. Yeah, that's a beauty. Okay.
So this is one of the Migmatites. So it's a mixed igneous metamorphic rock. It's basically metamorphosed so hard that it starts to melt and reform as an igneous rock. Yeah. So parts of it are like igneous and parts of it are metamorphic.
Sure. Well, this is my favorite. I'll show you my favorite sitting spot. I don't know. I'd be thrilled if you had a story about this one over here.
The polished one, I had nothing to do with.
Well, you had nothing to do with it.
No, any of those, like all the rocks that we gathered were just
raw.
Yeah, we went out and collected.
All right.
But this obviously got, you know, it got planed off and then polished. It's really pretty.
Perfect sitting rock, I'll tell you that.
Do I need to sit on it?
Yeah. Oh, you have a natural talent. Look at that. Let's do a couple of final. So the project, like, it's one of those where you kind of had a deadline and you're like hustling.
Well, oh yeah, exactly. So then we finally, you know, you got to schedule the truck, and then it snowed 4 inches. And so we're out there, and I had all these rocks picked out, but you can't see them. And so we're out there now. Of course, I didn't have any gloves, so I'm like, oh yeah, this one's a good one, you know.
In February.
Yeah. And so we ended up with some really good ones, actually. These are more of the Migmatites.
From Earthquake Point?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, no. These ones were from by BB Bridge.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Right up by the town of Chelan.
Yep.
Crossing the Columbia. Well, you were the perfect person for that because you had all these contacts with landowners and government agencies from all this.
A lot of the GPS work, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't make that connection till right now.
There's your granodiorite end member of the Mount Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
So just looking at that compared to the big boulder we were looking at over there, I would agree that this is the granodiorite and that's the diorite.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh, let's finish your tour. Have you seen this new building yet over here?
Yeah, they outdid us, I think.
Yeah, I think
it's
you're
beautiful right there on the, when you
right.
go in, it's all open, and They have tasting rooms. We don't have tasting rooms. Can we taste rocks? You go in there, there's a little hallway, and there's all these little side cubbies where people get to taste stuff.
What, for nutrition or something?
Probably.
Jesus.
But if we had that, we'd just be eating rocks.
We'd never go home.
Licking rocks. Can't identify a rock that way, I guess.
And so, I think it's time for us to visit with Emily, grad student who was instrumental in setting up this. And we'll visit with Emily right now. Thank you, young man, for your time.
Always a pleasure, Nick.
Emily, graduate student. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for spending time with us.
No problem.
So we just visited with Rex. I'm not even sure you've met Rex because he's out in the field so much.
Nope.
But he told us about kind of selecting some of these boulders and a little bit of the story and the logistics of kind of putting this all together.
Yeah.
And you were asked, I don't know, 3 months ago maybe or something?
Yeah, last quarter.
So was it Lisa Ely that kind of asked you to help with this? So what was the need and what were the steps necessary to kind of do this?
Yeah, so for our field intro class for grad students, we start with going out in the field and bonding and everything, and then one of our projects that we submit is a boulder kind of web page. Okay. So we each were assigned a boulder, and then we had to learn about the boulder, figure out what its name was, how it formed, and
oh wait, this goes way back. I thought you were just asked in January. You and Mandy to work on this, but this is when you first got to town.
Yeah, first got to town. Okay. So this was the first class that I had at CWU, and that was our project, was to take pictures and write about the boulder. Okay. So fast forward 6 months. The goal was to get all of these Word documents that people had typed up for each boulder, and then put it on the internet on our CWU Rock Garden.
Okay.
And so this allows people visiting to find a little map near Discovery Hall, which has all of the boulders written out on it. Okay. And then you can take a picture or use your QR code scanner using your phone, and it takes you to that website. And then you can click on whatever boulder you want and learn a little bit more about it and see what the grad students wrote about it.
Well, maybe, we didn't plan this, but maybe you could demonstrate for us.
I sure could, yeah.
You probably guessed that's what I wanted to do. Oh my God, geology majors. Wow, looking good, guys.
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
So just open up your camera on your phone. Okay. And then hold it above the QR. Maybe give it a tap. It might be not good because of the bird poop.
Oh my God.
Might not be picking it up.
Let me get the bird poop off of this. Crying out loud.
I know, so new, and they're already covered in.
We got to get rid of these birds, don't we? I think that somebody needs to put that in the plan for the rock garden. Kill all the birds on campus.
Okay, so now it's working. So you hover it over, and then it should give you a little outline around the QR code, and then maybe even a link that you can go touch. Okay. And that was the Wordle, not to spoil. All right, so now it's kind of it's the same picture that's on the actual board.
Got it.
And you can scroll in and zoom in, and you can pick whatever rock that you want. So let's see where we are. We're right here. So let's look at the rock that's closest to us. So that would be the tonalite, which is done, so that's good. So you click on that. Everyone with a hammer is one that has already been coated.
Oh,
so
I see.
Yeah. Oh, I did click on it. Okay, so you might have to scroll back out afterwards.
Find the right angle here.
Yeah, it's a little sunny.
This is
yeah.
This
So
is good right here. If you can see what you're doing.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. So once you click on that hammer, you can scroll back out, and it'll show you a little pop-up box.
Nice.
With a little bit of information about it.
Yeah.
And then underneath it says, "Click here to learn more about the tonalite."
Okay.
And then that brings you to...
Oh my God, you guys really went to town here.
Yeah, we did. And then that brings you to the larger page. This one was done by Timothy Miller.
Okay.
And it shows you first a little bit about it, where it's from,
Yep.
the formation and composition,
Good.
and then a little close-up view of it. And then there's usually some sort of like challenge question or like, can you find this? So you get to interact with the rock a little bit and not just look at the phone.
Okay.
And then at the bottom of the page, it'll say who wrote the page and for what course in what year.
I see. Are there like 4 or 5 of these signs
Yeah.
planted around the building?
There should be one at like around each corner of the building. There might
Okay.
not be one on that corner, but
Okay.
yeah,
So if people don't want to deal with the smartphone thing that looks too complicated, I mean, they can. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's always a you are here location, and yes, these boulders have been identified on this kind of master map. Somebody must have designed this at Central somewhere. I don't know who we got to do that. Now, you're a grad student here. Where did you do your undergraduate work?
I actually did my undergraduate work in New York. I went to State University of New York at Geneseo. Shout out, SUNY Geneseo.
Shout outs. And you decided to go all the way across the country for grad school.
Yes.
Can I ask why you didn't stay back east for grad school? You
To
can
be
say anything,
honest-
you can say anything you want now.
I was a little sick of shale. I
Okay.
was getting a little sick of it.
All right. Well, we got more than shale here. Yes. Well,
Yeah, it was really crazy to see like my first volcano.
uh-huh.
That was pretty crazy. Every time I still like drive down to Yakima and see like Mount Rainier, Mount Stewart,
Yeah.
I'm like, or Mount Adams.
Not Adams.
Yeah, it's like a little surprising.
I'm with you, and I've been here a long time. I still get a little thrill.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so now I'll reveal it. It's a conglomerate. So we click on that, and then our pop-up shows up, and
Yes.
we can click to learn more about it.
Yeah,
And then we have the web page. So this tells us what a meta-conglomerate is. So what does that even mean?
Right.
Breaks down the word.
good.
And then a physical description, and also with some annotations of the important features
Yeah.
that make it a meta-conglomerate. Its formation history, which is quite extensive, where it came from, and then a little like game to play for you to interact with the rock. Can you find the tension gashes?
And did that first photo have a little toy on
Yes, that's my scale that I used. I used a little toy dinosaur pencil holder.
Wow. And you can get that information on our website. You don't have to be standing here outside the building.
Yes. Also, you can go to, if you just Google CWU Geology, it'll take you to the website.
Yeah.
And then on the left-hand corner, if you scroll down, there should be a CWU Boulder Garden or Rock Garden link, and that will take you right to the map. So you can go and explore all of the rocks without actually being here too.
Well, thank you for your time.
No problem.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
All right.